All right, perfect. Thank you everyone for joining the session today. So we are going to conduct a webinar on how you can accelerate business growth with Google Maps platform. We are conducting this webinar in collaboration with Google, where we will essentially talk about a location intelligence Google Maps platform pertaining to multiple industry vertical and how it can help drive business growth and how you can implement various use cases for your business as well. So without further ado, let's get this started. So just wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name is Pranav, and I lead the Google Maps practice for UK, Ireland, and Benelux at Sears. Uh, Sears is a Google Premier partner globally. I'm also joined by Farzad Saini, who is a partner manager for Google Maps platform at Google for UK, Ireland, and Benelux market as well. Uh, this is a quick agenda that we have built for you guys today. So we'll start with a quick introduction to location intelligence. We'll look at what Google Maps platform is about, why a company or a particular vertical or a domain would need Google Maps platform. We would also look at some of the industry-specific use cases. Then we will delve into some of the plugin product solutions that we have built in-house. We'll also look at some of the case studies and client deployments that we have done, followed by a quick introduction about Sears, and leave out some time for additional question and answers as well. So with that said, Farzad, I'm handing it over to you. If you could take it forward.
Thanks, Pranav, and hello to everybody. As Pranav mentioned, my name is Farzad Sani. I'm a partner manager for Google Maps platform, looking after the UK, Ireland, and Benelux regions, and collaborating very closely with our partner Sears. Since 2005, the mission of Google Maps has been to help people navigate and explore the world wherever they are. And although we started as a web mapping product, and I'm sure many of you use Google Maps daily, weekly, monthly, it's evolved over the years to a suite of technologies powering over 5 million sites and applications. And so why do we believe at Google that location data is more important than ever to the enterprise? And the simple reality is that the world is changing rapidly, and the pace of change is getting faster, driven by the internet, connected devices, and cloud technology increasingly. And so according to Forbes, 90% of the data in the world was actually created in just the last couple of years. And the majority of the data in the world already has or will have a location component attached to it. And this location component provides context and connection between all of this disparate data that doesn't seem to otherwise be linked or have an obvious relationship. And this is what is helping drive business insights and value. Additionally, there's been a huge increase in connected devices across all industries. So today, there are probably about 23 billion Internet of Things, or IoT, connected devices worldwide. And by 2025, there will probably be about 75 billion devices. That's an increase of over 50 billion devices, all with a location component to them. So to put this into perspective, that's an average of almost 6 internet-connected devices for every person on the planet. And all of these connected devices will produce even more location data, making location intelligence even more crucial as we better understand the real-world circumstances and conditions of our users. So location data provides the backbone and the context for individuals and businesses navigating the world around them, creating new value for the enterprise. So location data allows for this by helping you to visualize data, understand context, analyze it, and develop insights. And there are 3 core benefits that this data can then therefore help provide to your company. The first is that it helps you build better customer experiences. The second is that it helps you optimize your operations. And thirdly, it enables strategic decision-making by connecting insights that you may not have previously been able to see. And while recent events are certainly very difficult from both a human and a business perspective, these events have actually helped validate our core mission and values. They've invigorated us to innovate even more rapidly so that you can then adapt to new enterprise requirements and ultimately the heightened expectations of your users. And later on in the webinar, Pranav will go through some of the ways in which you can capitalize on various trends and various products that we make available to kind of address each of these 3 opportunities for increasing value. Next slide, please. So what are some of these trends that we've seen accelerate in the last few months. Now, none of these will probably be too surprising for you, but we are certainly seeing how rapidly the landscape is progressing and evolving. I'll be putting these into context by touching on some of the recent products and features we've launched. And like I said, Pranav will go into more detail later on with how these capabilities and others can be applied within your business requirements. So the first key trend is that your customers want to make quick decisions and get things done as quickly as possible. And as consumers yourselves, you may intuitively already know this to be true. But according to research conducted by Google and the Boston Consulting Group, 80% of global shoppers say that getting things done as quickly as possible is important to them when deciding which brand or retailer to buy from. One of Google's top customers, Domino's, has 11 different ways people can quickly order a pizza from them, from sending an emoji over Twitter to asking Google Assistant directly. And that's all in the vein of reducing the friction for their customers to get a pizza as quickly as possible. And at Google, we ourselves have had a hand in accelerating this trend by helping to quickly deliver relevant information to help users make decisions quickly with things like Google Search. So how is Google Maps helping give your customers the context they need to make fast, confident decisions? One example is local context. This is a feature we launched in June, allowing you to embed relevant local context information directly into your website and applications with just a few lines of code, letting users see ratings, reviews, photos, and even directions without ever leaving your website. You can even customize the styling to match your brand look and feel. And what this aims to do is solve for what we know users to be doing today, juggling multiple browser tabs, trying to understand what is interesting around a location before booking a hotel, renting an apartment, or buying a home. In the case of travel, consumers typically visit nearly 30 sites before booking. So we expect the impact of this feature to be reduced bounce rates from your websites, reduced cart abandonments, and faster time to purchase, because they can kind of do it all in the same place. We also recently announced a suite of map customization tools so that you can have greater control of what is shown on your maps. Not only can you now update your maps across the web, Android, and iOS from the cloud without any code changes or developer support, you can also activate more nuanced point of interest filtering across several place type categories and control how densely these are displayed to your customers. Can we still go back a slide, please? So an example of this is Dozens, a UK-based financial technology company who uses this feature in their app to show customers exactly where their card transactions took place in the real world, so that they never have to decipher obscure merchant codes or call customer support to verify the validity of transactions. Next slide, please. The second trend we are seeing accelerate is the merging of online and offline experiences. Consumers are expecting more realistic, real-life online experiences to mimic an in-person, in real-life experience. And we see this trend in everything from movies and video games with higher frames per second to make scenes more realistic, to tech companies innovating in virtual reality and augmented reality to overlay their experiences onto the real world, like try-at-home experiences from spectacles brands and homeware brands, or even Google's own arts and culture app, which brings famous artworks directly onto your living room walls. Google Maps platform can help you differentiate with these rich online experiences. For example, our recently launched gaming solution makes it easy to use real-world location data to build augmented reality and gaming universes. Not only does it support real-world gameplay, like the popular Pokemon Go from a couple of years ago, but also couch mode as we spend more time at home these days. While currently limited to consumer gaming experiences, there are potentially exciting applications across many industries. So at-home gyms can simulate exercise in real-world conditions and courses like the Tour de France, while media and entertainment companies can save production costs by scouting locations and pre-visualizing their set designs and conditions. Travel companies might help their customers start their holidays from home by giving them a flavor of what their trip could be like, and construction companies can better assess location dynamics and considerations to optimize their designs to create a more beautiful built environment. We'd love to hear your ideas for this as we look to expand availability over the coming months. Next slide, please. And lastly, given all these changes in consumer expectations, businesses need real-world insights to keep pace and further adapt. In retail, for example, 46% of shoppers abandon their carts, if shipping times are too long or simply not given. And 23% of customers are willing to pay for same-day delivery. So again, drawing on the example of our customer Domino's, their chief digital officer said, customers today are impatient and their standards are unforgiving. Increasingly, consumers expect brands to intuitively know what they want, when they need it, and deliver it instantly. Tackling those challenges has meant rethinking the way our business operates. And that's why it's more important than ever to move your business forward with the world's freshest data. For example, we recently forged a strategic partnership with Uber to leverage our tailored ride-sharing and delivery solutions. By using these solutions, Uber will improve driver efficiency and safety, improve door-to-door navigation and reduce delays, improve journey accuracy for people and food, and ultimately create a more seamless experience for all their stakeholders. Next slide, please. At Google, we're obsessed with mapping the world, which uniquely positions us to help infuse your business with the power of location and capitalize on these accelerating trends. With Google Maps, our mission is to assist people as they navigate and explore the world wherever they are. The quality and accuracy and freshness of our data is due to our growing investment in location technology, and we are continuing to invest and explore new ways to connect people to the world. For example, we use high-resolution satellite and aerial imagery from camera-equipped satellites and aircraft that are constantly refreshed to bring the real world to our users. The satellite imagery in Google Earth covers more than 60% of the world's land surface and 98% of the world's population in sub-meter high resolution. We've taken this a step further by using advanced machine learning to duplicate and scale our location data. For example, while Street View cars collect millions of images daily, it is impossible to manualize more than 80 billion high-res images collected to date in order to find new or updated information for Google Maps. One of the goals of Google's Ground Truth team is to enable the automatic extraction of information from our geolocated imagery to improve Google Maps. We employ imagery, machine learning, and automation techniques to map new countries and territories quickly so that you too can ensure your users everywhere can enjoy your services. Next slide, please. So to wrap up, it's only Google Maps that offers the breadth and depth to transform the way you leverage location intelligence to delight your users and transform your business. We have the most reliable and comprehensive global data sets covering 99% of the world across 200 countries and territories, 40 million miles of roads, and millions of public transit stations. Every day, 25 million updates are made to the maps to ensure our data remains fresh and accurate. And that's only further helped by our 60 million local guides, common users of Google Maps who help add over 20 million contributions per day, like reviews, star ratings, photos, atmosphere data, and more, so that you can count on accurate, reliable information across over 150 million places globally. Secondly, Google Maps is a brand that consumers trust and are familiar with. Millions of people use Google Maps daily, and over 1 billion use it every month. They know us, they enjoy us, and they trust us. And we can't wait to see what new interesting ways you integrate that with your own brand's experiences. And finally, the last 15 years' experience of mapping the world has helped us develop a deep understanding of what users need in a map, powered by rich real-time data. Next slide, please. And this is all why 70% of the Fortune 500 and millions of companies partner with Google Maps. Over 5 million websites and apps use Google Maps platform every week. For over a decade and a half, we've been collaborating with companies like yours to solve many of your customers' needs. And looking ahead, we see a few large trends that will change how you do business from today. They are also what we have built our product strategy on and the lens through which we hope to collaborate with you. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Pranav to walk you through some of the exciting ways in which Sears have helped our joint customers leverage the power of Google Maps and location intelligence. At Google, we love partnering with companies like Sears because they have spent years developing critical best practices and solutions across industries, and by expertly applying those insights to the nuanced requirements of each particular enterprise they work with to really innovate and help drive them forward.
Thank you, Fazad. Thank you so much for setting the tone for the rest of the session. If anyone has any specific questions or doubt, please don't hesitate to post that in the chat section. We will try our best to address that during the course of the presentation or during our Q&A. So Fazad has already shared a lot of perspective into Google Maps, and I'm sure you'd already might be thinking of some of the use cases that can be useful for you as well. But there are three major use cases that Google Maps platform primarily works with. So first is definitely enhancing customer experience. Second is driving operational efficiency, and third is helping business make strategic decisions, like Fazad mentioned. So before we move further on the use cases, this is how Google Maps platform is primarily structured. On the base, you have the entire foundation of Google Maps, where you have the places data, you have directions data, you have a traffic layer integrated, and a lot more that you can do. On top of that, you can also build your own data, like location of your company, your sales figure, uh, information about your customer, like where are they located, where's the demand coming from. You can also integrate a lot of third-party data. For example, if you'd like to look at your demand in a particular area, you can do that. You could also add on top of that a layer of demographics or income segments, etc. So this again will give you much better perspective of your business. Uh, all right, so let's talk about first use case, which is better customer experience. Now, we all know that it's very critical for companies across industries, be it retail or e-commerce business or a financial services company or a last mile delivery company like the likes of Amazon or DHL. So with the increase in the overall online shopping and demand for the same day delivery, Google Maps platform makes the entire process much better experience for the user. Now, how do they do that is now a user can see where the packages is, the route the driver is taking, the estimated time of arrival of the delivery, and all this in real time. So this gives user a lot more transparency in the overall delivery process as well. Also, using location component, you can make it easier for your users to be booked or picked by one of the taxi services or a ride-sharing cab within minutes. From the financial services perspective, using location data, you could also accelerate the overall KYC process by helping new users sign in and quickly verifying their address to improve the KYC security as well. Now, the next question is, how do we do that, right? So Google Maps platform has a feature called as Places Autocomplete, which lets you, that you see on the left hand side of the screen. What it does is it lets you capture customer address and real-time location. It makes it easier for users to enter correct billing and shipping information by automatically suggesting addresses that they type. Now, this is pretty helpful and pretty beneficial because due to the fewer keystrokes that a user need to type in to avoid mistakes, which leads to much higher address accuracy and faster checkout experience as well. Also, studies suggest that after implementing autocomplete feature, there is a 24% dropout reduction and 65% faster transaction completion as well. A great example is of Maxida DIY group in Europe itself, and they use Places Autocomplete extensively, and they have seen an increase of more than 20% in their conversion rate, making the checkout process easier as well. The next segment is called the store or a product locator. So if this is implemented on your website, it is one of the easiest and quickest ways to drive customer traffic. Now, since the customer would be spending nowadays, the customer would be spending a lot of time trying to search online for something that they need faster. Given the e-commerce companies and startups are also taking a lot of time delivering the essentials. So if your website already has a smart locator, you know, you would be able to create stuff like inventory with directions, with distance, with everything on the website itself. So a customer essentially did not have to go to Google Maps and try and figure out where everything was. Everything will be readily available on the website itself. You can also see a quick animation on the left where you'd be able to see the kind of filters are available. You can merge your own data with the Google Maps, and you can create your custom filters. And you can also locate information like what are the store open times, what are the close time, even get information about the contact numbers for a specific store. So all this information is easily integrated with your website, and it can add it can provide a seamless experience and improve stickiness to your website or your portal as well. This is a very simple implementation of Google Maps. So there are many companies who have implemented smart or store product locator, and this could be implemented across vertical, could be a financial firm, could be a retail store. And lastly, you could also leverage geo marketing. So using Google Maps, you could also do customer profiling based on his previous behavior and prior engagement with your products and services. And you could also send over push notifications for relevant offers. You could also do push notification when a user enter a specific location closer to your vicinity of your store, leading to a better engagement of your user with your application or website. Moving on to the next slide. So this is the next case study. This is the next use case. So this is to basically automate and optimize your operations in real time. So with retail and logistic firms facing growing demand and with the rising cost and shortage of labor, Google Maps platform can help you optimize your operations in real time. Uh, Now, with the help of your own data combined with maps, location data, you can also identify, accurate driver locations. You'd be able to identify where your fleets or assets are at real time. You can also track navigation and routes for your field agents, taking to make sure that you're keeping your operational expenses in check as well. You'd also be able to determine the roads and the route condition, like any restrictions on the roads are there, or there is a toll booth in a given route, which will significantly help you reduce the cost by optimizing the overall route your fleets and delivery agents are taking as well. Uh, Moving on to the next slide, these are some of the additional use cases, which are internal to your company. So last mile delivery becomes really important. The routing algorithm built on top of Google Maps. We take into consideration real-time traffic, which is very important for companies right now in this given condition, especially in the last mile delivery space where deliveries are picked up by huge margins. And given the footfall and the offline traffic is quite low currently. Again, for folks who are involved in the entire supply chain and logistics vertical, trying to figure out where your team is, if the stores and warehouses are adequately stocked, improving services, streamlines teams in their operational efficiency is something which is another use case that you can implement as well. And finally, capacity management, knowing how well a warehouse or a store is stocked, knowing where the nearest distributor is, how best to route them, and ensure that you're managing your capacity in the most effective manner possible. So this could be some of the additional use cases that you could definitely implement as well. This is finally, let's look at the last use case, which is to help business make strategic decisions. So companies today deal with large volume of data and to analyze and make sense of it as well. So with Google Maps platform, companies can also analyze and visualize their data on the maps and identify opportunities for expansion, see gaps in their current operations, identify a risk if they're starting a new venture in a specific geography as well. So to give an example, we have a logistic ISP who uses Google Maps API and have built a very strong routing software for all the sizes of fleet management companies. Now, this particular software helps client to make strategic business decisions, such as how many trucks to buy, how many trucks needs to operate in a particular day, how many drivers they need to hire, and all such kind of information can be identified, right? So this could be applicable for companies across different verticals and help them make smart decisions as well. Moving on to the next slide. So Google Maps also let you add a location component to your existing business intelligence as well. You can analyze your customer base by creating heat maps and visual layers and add a lot of variable component based on your data as well. You can also leverage Google Places data to plan your future location. So this becomes really handy for real estate firms to plan their location based on understanding, what's around their location, what the competitive landscape looks like. Also optimize your geo-marketing promotion and have a bird-eye view to understand where your customers are based out of and plot that in the map as well. This is a better representation of what we saw on the slide earlier. As soon as you add data to the map, you can visualize a lot of things related to population, related to sales data, heat maps on which region are doing well, which location your businesses are well stocked, whereas there is a supply chain gap, or which areas or which locations is where your competitors are doing well. So, and I just built out something like an intelligent platform for you to visualize the overall operations as well for your company. And all right, so moving on to the next section, we will quickly look into some of the plug and play solution on top of maps that we have built in-house, which can be directly implemented and help you achieve a few additional use cases as well. We have just added some screens here, given the time we have and the bandwidth might be a concern, but if what we'd love to set up maybe a follow-up call or a follow-up demo where you can go deeper into one of these solutions. So please feel free to mention that in the feedback form that we have shared as well, or you can post that in the chat section or email us to us if you think any of these products and services you might be interested in as well. So the first one is called Route Logic. As the name suggests, it's built on a routing algorithm that will help you move most of your offline channels of sales into an online platform for managing your deliveries. So it's as simple as pasting your website URL and uploading your offline orders online, and just entering how many delivery agents you have. You'd be able to batch your order, you'd be able to batch deliveries, and get in return through Google Maps APIs on what would be the best optimized route to get these deliveries done in a given day or time. Next is this smart store locator, which I have already seen in our previous section. But if you have not implemented this on a website or mobile app, this is again a very readily available, ready to use solution that we have built. You can use some of the, you can see this screen, screen here. We are helping customer also define a radius around a specific location, and then popping up all the point of sales which are available nearby, and also giving them directions to each of those points as well. Again, this is all integrated into your website itself. No need to go to Google Maps. Everything can be achieved inside the platform as well. Another interesting use cases that we are working on, product that we are working on, is through a third-party data integrator, which is on defining COVID hotspot. So essentially, think of things like deliveries or transportation of your employees, or transportation of your asset, where we not want them to travel via containment zone, or you can reroute them in a better way. So this basically takes care of all that particular use cases that you might have in mind as well. So this is something very interesting that we are building currently, and would love to hear your thoughts on that as well. And this is the HR management platform that we have built in-house. Again, this manages the employee life cycle from onboarding to offboarding. It helps you with knowing where exactly your field sales reps are. Given the current situation, you can also help them mark their attendance remotely. So you can see there is a meeting management module again integrated with Google Maps on the left-hand side of the screen. So this definitely helps your entire field force in order to manage their day better. So in a nutshell, it gives overall visibility of a field force and essentially helps you to manage your operational efficiency. Now let's quickly look at some of the client deployments and case studies, where CS has worked with Google Maps and potentially help them achieve their business benefit. So Rapido is a mobile app based taxi services operating in India. With the help of Google Maps, they were able to optimize their routing and ride assigning mechanism, and also enhance the overall user experience. Earlier, the entire process was very much manual in nature. But with the help of the Google Maps platform, we ensured the pickup time reduced by a significant margin, and we also helped them more than 5 million orders per month as well with the help of Google Maps platform. The next slide is on Pneumatic, which this was the company I was earlier referring to on one of my slides. So their platform helps large fleet companies offer rich maps and reliable navigation to their customers. So we basically help them reduce the overall cost by up to 4% by efficiently planning their delivery routes with minimum manual intervention. The next one is a pretty interesting use case. Again, this is a fintech platform which enables cash withdrawal from cafes and small stores by using mobile app. So basically what they wanted to do is wanted to create a centralized internet banking platform, which basically reduces the bottleneck at the traditional banking services or ATM services. So with Google Maps platform, with Google Maps powerful places data, they were able to locate the nearest cash distributors, vendors, and reduce their support channels by huge margins as well. Lastly, this is a leading online travel company called ibibo Group. So the challenges they were facing was to ensure better traffic on their website and add a function to their maps to basically locate their hotels and point of interest. So using Google Maps platform, customers were able to locate the desired hotels they want to check into or they want to book for, or also able to manage their bookings more effectively using Google Maps API. This also resulted in improvement of their overall net promoter score and customer satisfaction. This is coming to the fag end of session today. So we'll also quickly look at who Sears is, what we do, just a quick introduction about us as well. So we have been working with the IT consulting space for over 14 years now, and we have been closely associated with Google for the past decade. We are headquartered in Austin, Texas, and we have also presence in London and Singapore for our UK and Asia Pacific business. The specialty mainly lies in the cloud, automation, and analytics sector. We are also one of the premier partner with Google and have been serving for the past several years. And this partnership is global in nature as well in multiple geographies. Uh, we are also one of the partners to be recognized as a location-based specialized partner. So with years of proven expertise in technical and business consulting, having worked with more than 2,000 plus customers globally, we have made sure that we keep on providing the best customer experience across multiple geographies and considered as go-to partner for scaling any particular business. Uh, this is a quick snippet of what you would get as a part of the services support and account management with a partner like Sears. So anything related to usage optimization, consulting workshop, continuous engagement with Google, getting to know what's happening in the overall ecosystem of Google Maps and Google Cloud. And then there are additional opportunities for joint marketing as well. We do a lot of case studies with Google as well. So some of the names that you saw on our earlier slide, we have worked with Google on those accounts and have got them listed on Google website as well. So in addition to, so these are a bunch of things that we also do in addition to just the reselling side of things as a partner as well. And this is a quick slide on the journey that we had with Google so far. So as you can see, we started way back in 2006 with Google Suite Engineering Services, and gradually moved on over the years and started practices for Google Suite, Google Cloud Platform, and Google Maps as well. We are also one of the fastest to become the premier partner globally, with 50 plus customers onboarded in the first few months itself. And moving on, this is a quick slide about us as well. So we have been very lucky to be Google Partner of the Year for 4 consecutive years now. We are looking forward to the next one, but unfortunately the event got postponed due to COVID. So so this just gives us a reflection of what CS could bring to different companies and different companies across different industries. So with that said, we have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Farzad. Now we are open to any questions, and we want to considerably spend a lot of time with answering any questions or getting your feedback on this overall presentation today as well. You could also post your questions on the chat section itself as well.
Hey Pranav, Deepak here.
Yes, Deepak.
Yeah, you mentioned about getting the data of COVID-19 containment zone and utilizing it for the delivery purpose for logistic companies. So how would you fetch that data? And if you can just, give us insights on that part.
Yeah. So we are currently working with some of the third-party integrators in order to fetch that data as well. So typically what we are trying to understand is, because a lot of companies are working in that particular domain, right? So we're basically trying to aggregating those data from different third-party sources and trying to map it onto Google Maps platform as well to understand which all geographies or which all location could be COVID infected or could be a containment zone as well.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. I think Priya has a quick question. So question is, would like to understand how can I get started with store locator use case and what I need to do and how would the pricing work? So again, Priya, thanks for the question. So what typically you would have to do is predominantly help us understand a little bit on the kind of data that you want to integrate as well as part of the overall solutioning. What kind of variable component and what kind of variable filters that you want to add upon which you want to have that plotted on the map itself. And the pricing again depends upon the kind of API consumption we have. So typically for a store locator, you would need something like a dynamic maps API, something like a distance matrix API. So depending upon the several APIs that you would require, the pricing would work accordingly. Fazad, if you want to take this question from Sharon. So her question is, the application, their current application is using Apple Maps. Can they also use Google Maps along with Apple Maps?
Yeah, so thanks for the question, Sharon. So there are different circumstances in which you would be able to leverage different components of the Google Maps platform alongside Apple Maps if you have certain use cases that are already powered by Apple Maps. But we would probably have to discuss in more detail exactly how you would, like to see those live side by side, what the specific use cases are, and how we could allow for that. Certain scenarios where you can't kind of mix and match across Google Maps platform and other mapping providers. But we're happy to kind of take that offline and discuss your particular needs in detail.
Great, thanks for that. Any other questions, guys?
Hey, Pranav, I have one more question.
Yes, Deepak.
In our current HR platform, there is no, I mean, you have shown one use case where you are actually getting the employees time in and time out.
Yes.
In the place of client, right? So how do we integrate that? Because in our current HR platform, it does not have any such capability. So can we use Google Maps to do the same?
Yes, absolutely.
So will we require some kind of specific APIs for that?
Yes, you would require certain APIs. So definitely the idea is to map your field force using Google Maps. So you would need to understand the physical address or the latitude and longitude of your field force, where they are based out of. And we would certainly require Google Maps APIs to get that facilitated as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
We have a couple of more minutes. Please feel free to share as many questions as possible. We have also shared the feedback form. So if you could spend some time and let us know if you have any specific feedback for the session that we had today. And also you could reach out to us. I'll post this session. We will also share our contact details with you guys. We'll also share the recording of this session for you to share internally with other stakeholders of your firm as well. So you can definitely do that as well. We still have a couple of minutes. So folks, any additional questions you would like to ask? All right, perfect. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Thank you so much for sparing time with us. We would love to hear from you as well. We'll, like I said, we will share with you the webinar recording as well for you to have to review it internally with your team as well. Again, thank you so much for joining in. You have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.